we will have the next technical session, which will be the third of the day, and it will be chaired from Saudi Arabia, specifically from Jeddah, King Abdulaziz University, by Dr. Bassem Al-Amri. And here I invite our research scholar, Riyun. She is from Mongolia. She is doing her PhD at Killa University in the Department of Linguistics, to introduce Dr. Bassem Al-Amri. Yes, please, Riyun.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm really happy to introduce Dr. Bassem Al-Amri from Saudi Arabia. What happened? Louder. Good afternoon. I'm really happy to introduce Dr. Bassem Al-Amri from Saudi Arabia. And he is assistant professor in English Language Institute at King Abdullah's University, Saudi Arabia. By the way, he was a classmate of our Dr. Amin. He got his BAd and MA in English language teaching from KSA. He studied MA Linguistics at Murray State University, USA. And he obtained his PhD in linguistics from College of Education, University of New Mexico, USA. His research interests revolve around topics related to second language academic writing and publishing, including genre studies and corpus linguistics, English for academic and specific purposes, discourse analysis, and technology in the classroom. He has a number of research articles published in international journals like Cambridge and others. Presently, he is the director of the Academic Writing Center at KSA University in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. So thank you for inviting me to share this session, which is going to be fruitful and informative for all of us as well. Thank you, Dr. Amin, and thank you for your wonderful presentation. And I would like to welcome all the presenters for this session. And can we start now?
Yes, sir, we can start. And we would like to call the presenters to be ready one by one. So, Bethalen, are you available? Yes, he's there. And also we have Amira from Ethiopia.
Yes.
Very fine. In fact, there was Mr. James, but he apologized at the end, the last minute. So we are replacing him with Miss Bushra from New Delhi. And Mr. Anil, are you available?
Yes, sir, present.
Okay, so, Dr. Bassem, you can initiate and start the session, thankfully.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Amin. Okay, we'll begin our session today with Dr. Bantalem. Well, he's from Waldia University in Ethiopia. He's going to present about using inquiry-based instruction to develop students' academic writing skills. Okay, the floor is yours, Dr. Bantalem. You may start now.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me first share the slides. Hello?
Yes,
Am I
you can start. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. First, I would like to thank the organizers just to give me this wonderful opportunity to present my paper in this international session. The topic is, as you can see, using inquiry-based instruction to
Sorry, Mr.
develop
Baghdad, for the interruption, but if you can speak louder or bring the mic nearer to the mouth, that will be better.
Okay. The title is Using Inquiry-Based Writing Instruction to Develop Students' Academic Writing Skills. Is it audible? Is it audible now?
Yes.
Okay. To begin with the introduction, inquiry-based instruction is a form of gaining knowledge and skills through asking for information. It means the students themselves ask questions and they investigate their own writing topics to get their own answers. Inquiry-based learning is a language learning method under the umbrella of communicative approach. There are various active learning methods under communicative approach like inquiry-based learning, task-based, problem-based, case-based, and others. So from these active learning methods, inquiry-based learning can be taken as part of the communicative approach. Inquiry-based instruction is needed just to fill the gaps of the existing learning methods. There are gaps that are identified by various researchers, so it's needed in language learning to fill the gaps. In inquiry-based instruction, the students themselves identify and research their own writing problems or writing issues, and they produce their own academic texts through research. Coming to the problem is, as it is identified by various studies, it's the students currently are not able to produce effective academic texts, especially their texts are insufficient in task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. In addition to the previous studies, the researchers' teaching experience, that means my own teaching experience, also showed that the students' essays are insufficient in various academic writing issues. For example, the students were unable to write clear topic sentence and clear thesis statements, and the texts or the essays written by those students were inadequate in content, organization, language usage, diction, and mechanics. But having these writing problems of students, there are limited studies to solve these problems. In other words, there are no adequate studies conducted on inquiry-based instruction, especially in the study area in Ethiopia. So this study aimed at exploring the effects of using inquiry-based instruction to develop students' academic writing skills. So what's the research question? The question was, what are the effects of using inquiry-based instruction on students' academic writing skills? The methodology, the research design of this study was quasi-experimental, especially the pre-test, post-test, two groups design was employed, and the students, that means the participants, were first-year pharmacy department students at Rift Valley University in Ethiopia, and these students were selected using availability sampling, and that means the students were enrolled in the course academic writing skills. The students were two classes, experimental and control, while the experimental group were 32 in number and the control group were 30. That means a total of 34 students were participated in this study. To say something about the data gathering instruments, essay writing tests, focus group discussion, student reflective journal, and content analysis were used. The essay writing tests were both pre-tests and post-tests, 3 post-tests and other 3, I mean 3 pre-tests and other 3 post-tests were used to collect data through tests. And the focus group discussion, it was conducted with the students after the intervention. The student reflective journal were conducted while the intervention were going on. That means the students have been reflecting on their daily learning process, the strong sides and weak sides of using inquiry-based instruction in the writing classroom. Finally, the content analysis, the students' papers, the students' essays were evaluated at the end. The data analysis methods used in this study, the quantitative and qualitative data analysis methods were used because the nature of the data were like that, quantitative and qualitative. The quantitative data gained through the tests were analyzed through independent sample t-tests using SPSS version 26, and the qualitative data, the focus group discussion, student reflective journal, and the textual analysis were analyzed qualitatively. Especially the textual analysis was analyzed using the ILTS writing task descriptors. These descriptors include task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. So both quantitative and qualitative data analysis methods were used to analyze the data. To say something about the intervention, that means the classroom practice in this inquiry-based learning. First, the students themselves ask questions. That means they discover their own writing topics based on their own interest. Then having their own topic, they investigate or search for information from different sources, from the library using the hard copies and the soft copies. Even the students are the students were gathering data through interview and observation from different sources. So after investigating and gaining the relevant information, they created their own essays. That means they write up drafts, and after that, having their drafts or their draft essays, they discuss with colleagues, with writing experts, even with their family and the teacher. And finally, after discussion, they wrote the final draft of their essay, and they reflect on 2 issues. First, they reflect on their paper, on their essay, and then they reflected on the process, their inquiry process. That means how they wrote the essays. Okay. The findings, especially the findings gained from the descriptive statistics show that although both groups of students have improved, both the control and experimental group, the experimental group showed greater improvement compared to the control group. But we can understand that the students have improved their writing skills. And you can see these figures in the pre-test and the post-test. In the pre-test, they are near 35 and 37, but in the post-test, we can see 36 and 46. So there is a great change. The independent sample test also shows the improvement. So the students who participated in the inquiry-based instruction outperformed in their academic writing skills. Similarly, the focus group discussion and reflective journals also showed that the students stated in this way that their academic writing skills have been developed because they discover their own writing topics, investigate necessary information, discuss with experts and their colleagues, and they produce sound texts with appropriate feedback. Even the textual analysis, that means analyzing the students' essays, that shows the students' post-test essays were better than the students' pre-test essays in task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy. The papers were also the papers addressed adequate content organization, language usage, which means accuracy, vocabulary, and mechanics. So the students have drafted a clear topic sentence and thesis statements in their post-intervention essays. Let me come to the implications, the last issue. Inquiry-based instruction is suggested as a means to improve students' academic writing skills, and as a result, the teachers, curriculum designers, material developers, and the students need to consider these inquiry-based instruction to develop the students' academic writing skills. And the last one is the future studies. Future studies should be conducted on using inquiry-based instruction on other English language skills, just to widen the use of inquiry-based instruction in ALT. And that's all. Thank you very much.
All right, wonderful study, Dr. Bantalem. Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. And let's give questions at the end of the 4 presentations, which is going to be more helpful and to the point. Okay, let's now move to Dr. Amiri. He's from Bahir Dar University in Ethiopia. He's going to present about effects of using corpus-based instructional mediation on mechanical engineering students' critical thinking skills in academic writing classes. Dr. Amiri, the floor is yours. You may start now.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say, am I audible?
Yes, but can you just bring the mic closer to your...
What about now?
Yes, now is much better.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for this golden opportunity for the organizers and the chairman for this, for giving me the chance to present my paper, International Virtual Conference. So as you can see in the title, my research focuses on effects of using corpus-based instructional mediation on mechanical engineering students' critical thinking skills in academic writing class. So as we all know, critical thinking skill is a crucial issue on education, and various higher education curriculum designers are advised to consider the students' critical thinking skill while they teach different subjects. The students need to ask and argue ideas they learn every day. They shouldn't receive, they must ask, they must argue different ideas, different opinions, and different assumptions. So critical thinking is a way of reasonable and logical thinking to determine what to accept and reject. In relation to critical thinking, various scholars define this concept differently. For instance, these scholars mentioned that critical thinking encompasses understanding, discovering, and indicating solution. And it's also the ability to ask and answer questions. Critical thinking skill helps students, especially in academic writing skill, as we all know. The student analyze, develop, interpret different sources. So critical thinking skill helps students to develop reflective analysis, rational thinking, logical interpretation, evaluation skills. So different researchers in relation to critical thinking propose different strategies in order to enhance the students' critical thinking skills. But the students' critical thinking skill problem is still there. So as I tried to mention, it's a compulsory skill for students' academic writing skill. And when we talk about critical thinking skill and the students' language learning, they're interrelated. They're similar, they're interrelated. Language learning is a cognitive process that includes identify, process, understand, and choose to communicate efficiently and effectively. Therefore, language competency is crucial for learning academic writing skill and also for learning other language skills to address questions and ideas in most productive way, to express arguments shows the writer's speaker's position, and it is a vehicle for critical thinking skills. Accordingly, learners need to learn and acquire authentic and genuine linguistic elements that can be used in students' communicative context and situation. So let's see some pointers. What is corpus is all about? Corpus is an authentic and genuine language data, which are assembled, corpora which are assembled and exploited through a user-friendly software. As I tried to mention, it is naturally occurring authentic spoken and written data assembled through explicit criteria. In order to design a certain corpus, the designer need to have an explicit criteria and exploited through a user-friendly software. So it is assumed that the researcher assumed that if the student instructed through these authentic linguistic elements, the student may improve their critical thinking skills. They try to find different solutions for their language problem. They share different experiences in order to think rationally. It also gives a great opportunity to choose the appropriate linguistic elements. So it enhances their judgment skills, their thinking skills. They also engage on self-corrective and analysis and problem-solving skills. So the problems are here. Why I'm interested to engage on students' critical thinking skills. The first is the students have difficulty in critical thinking skills. Different researchers mentioned that the students have difficulty in, especially EFL students have difficulty in critical thinking skills, especially in academic writing skill. The other point, foreign language students have a lack of critical thinking skills and engagement. And besides that, as a researcher, I observed that the students do not evaluate and analyze the data they found. They focus on simple mental activities. Therefore, and in addition to that, lack of authentic and reliable linguistics challenged them to synthesize, evaluate, and show their position in their academic writing. So this is my research question. What are the effects of corpus-based instruction on EFL students' critical thinking skills? And the objective was to examine the effects of corpus-based instruction on EFL students' critical thinking skills in academic writing skills. This is my conceptual framework. So in this corpus-based instruction, I particularly choose lexical bundles. Sometimes we call them formalic linguistic elements and meta-discourses, because there are some, besides to their structural difference, they share similar function. They have similar functions. So I choose these linguistic elements, lexical bundles and meta-discourses, and they assume they improve their argumentative writing, data interpretation, and idea critics. Basically, in relation to critical thinking, it focuses on analysis texts, arguments, show positions, conclusions, inferences, and etc. And the instruction is practically applied through mediation, scaffolding, and discovery learning approach. The methodology which was employed was a non-equivalent pre and post quasi-experimental research design. The participants were further mechanical engineering students, and the instrument was used pre-test and post-test, and the analysis was independent based. So the design corpus was focused on, or the subcorpora were focuses on these research articles. As you can see here, I selected 8 journals, and totally 120 articles were selected from these journals. The procedures were, first, I selected representative journals, especially by consulting the discipline experts, and articles were chosen based on an explicit criteria, and linguistic elements, what I have mentioned earlier, meta-discourses and lexical elements were selected, and present these linguistic elements in a contextual way, and assessment was held. As you can see here, the intervention was made in technical report writing course, which is given for the mechanical engineering students. And the purpose of the course was is to improve their project and report writing skill. So the first one for the experiment group was instructed through corpus-based instruction, and the control group was instructed through a conventional approach. So as you can see here, they practice different writing genres and theoretical aspects, because the theoretical aspect focuses on what is technical report writing, the types, methods, and etc. So they engaged on different writing genres, on abstract, introduction, data interpretation, conclusion, and etc. Linguistic elements were explicitly instructed. The linguistic elements, the meta-discourse and lexical bundles were instructed explicitly, and the students engaged in different writing assessments. But when you come to the conventional, the control group, the conventional approach was, as I said, implemented. Only the theoretical aspect was focused, and linguistics does not cover, and the assessment was conceptual, only the theoretical aspects. So when we come to the finding, as you can see here, the pretest indicated that there was a slight difference between the control and the experimental group. Even the control group had better mean scores than the experimental group. But when you come to the post-test results, the experimental group outperformed well better than the control groups. Therefore, besides, a significant statistical difference was observed between the control and the experimental group. The students employed various evaluative and analytical meta-discourses and lexical elements in their argumentative writing. The students improved their analytical and evaluation skills. Hence, corpus-based instruction enhances the students' critical thinking skills in writing skill. And I would like to conclude my presentation in this way, corpus-based instruction improved the students' critical thinking skills. They employed various meta-discourse and lexical elements, and they also clearly show their positions, arguments by using various linguistic elements. The implication, the finding of this research has implication for syllabus designers, material writers, and academic writing teachers, and the students. Thank you very much.
All right, very articulated study, Dr. Amiri. Wonderful. All right, I have list of questions for the presenters, but let's move now to our third session, which is going to be presented by Dr. Bushra Jabin. She is a PhD scholar from Department of Applied Linguistics and Humanities from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. You may start, Dr. Bushra.
Sir, is it any possibility for you to share my slides, PPT slides?
Okay. So, all right. So if you can share it, yeah, just go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Oh, wait a second. Let me try from my side if I can. Hold on.
Let's see, Dr. Amin, can you help her?
What is the problem?
Yes, she can't. She's not able to share her screen. I don't know if you can help her or.
She can click to the. And the bottom, you can. They are present now. You can click in that one.
Sir, actually the issue is I have misplaced my.
You use computer or phone?
It's a phone.
Phone. There are three full stop on the front side.
Sir, the issue is like I have misplaced my PT somewhere. Is it possible to share it from your end?
Okay.
Okay, so I think let's, if you can wait until we finish, Dr. Bushra, so we can take who's next, Dr. Anil Patel. until
Yes, sir.
yes. So okay, we'll skip Dr. Bushra. We'll come back to her, inshallah. And let's
Sir, hello,
now.
hello, hello.
Dr. Amin,
Are
Sir,
you able to share your
can you
screen?
share her BBT?
sir,
Yes.
may I
Can you
Yes,
hear
interrupt?
me?
sir. Shall I, sir? Shall I?
Sir, may I interrupt, sir? I think there is a possibility I think it's possible for my,
Okay, sir. Let her do it.
Okay.
She's ready, I think.
yeah.
Okay. If you are ready, Dr. Bushra, so you may
Uh-huh.
start.
Sure, sir, sure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Dr. Amin,
Yes, is there anything? This is one of the organizers.
All right. So yeah,
Is it visible?
uh, it is, but it's difficult to see. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
It's not visible?
It is. It is visible. Yes, but the quality is a little bit. Okay, go ahead. We can read the slides.
Okay. Um, the title of my paper presentation is Issues and Challenges in Learning English as a Second Language and Its Mitigation. My name is Bushra Jabeen and I'm a PhD research scholar from Jamia Millia Islamia. And I thank Dr. Amin sir to give me this opportunity to present my paper. Heading towards directly to the core of the paper, I would introduce that there are several issues and challenges in learning English as a second language. These factors can be internal as well as external. So, giving it point wise, first we count the geographical factors, uh, which hurdles the learning of English. Then we come to the administrative factors, which hurdles learning of English. And finally, we go to the academics factors. The geographical factor is basically the locational hurdle of the institute for the students to actually access the learning institution for learning English. Um, the factors that prevail, the geographical factors, we can say that it's political, socio-cultural factors, and economic factors as well. Here, the geopolitical aspect of the geographical area of learning English plays a very vital role where there is a comparison of motivation to learn English and with mother tongue of the local region of that area. Further, we can go for the administrative illustrations of hurdles for learning English, where we see the government plays a very important role in learning English, where government provides facilities for proper infrastructure and accurate government policies are implemented. There is no shortage of appropriate teaching or audiovisual aids and shortages of learning English language, teaching English language educators, and there is sufficient education system policies to be implemented for the students to provide a fluid learning of English language. From the academic viewpoint, we can say that if the teachers are not that well equipped and they lack motivation, poor attitude towards teaching English, it will reflect in the learners of English language. The practice of inappropriate methods and approaches in teaching can also reflect in absence of motivation for learning. Inefficient teachers with improper English teaching skills can also affect the same. If we go taking into consideration these geographical administrative and academic factors, we'll find that the self-regulated internal and external factors are very much affected, which reflect in lack of discipline in learning, lack of awareness that can be through economic, social, cultural, and personal level, lack of willingness to learn, lack of patience to learn, lack of seriousness to learn English, and lack of independence, which may hurdle the learner's progress in learning the language. This can also lead to lack of practice, poor motivation, negative attitude, which plays a very vital role in build up of the self-esteem for learning this language. This may also lead to lack of commitment of learning English. The external factors which hurdle the learner's side may reflect the peer circle and the lack of management of learning resources. The families of the learner also in these terms reflect the hurdles for learning English. This may reflect in the excessive use of native language, the lack of learning of English from the family's side, lack of motivation, lack of poor attitude, economic disparity, and cultural restraints. Further, these issues in learning English can reflect in the emerging challenges in the learners. They may lack vocab, they may have poor grammar, lack of fluency, lack of variation, and lack of confidence while while speaking English. The measures for such issues to be mitigated are can be divided, as we can see, from the geographical perspective, from the administrative perspective, and as well as from the academic perspective. From the geographical perspective, the mitigation can be taken into consideration, where we introduce the online learning processes for the learners to affiliate them for learning English. Then at the administrative level, there should be proper implementation of education policies, and at the academic level, the use of advanced technologies and the hiring of the qualified teachers should be taken into consideration. The significance of this present study reflects the vicious circle, where we see the development of the process of language learning and how it is hurdled by the persistent challenges, emerging issues, poor learning English, and then finally leading to anxiety, which may also termed as xenoglossophobia, which is nothing but a phobia of a foreign language, which leads to a hindrance in development of learning English. And this vicious circle goes on from the persistent challenging to the anxiety level, and then following the hindrances in a circular way. This paper promotes online English language learning process, and highlights the mitigation of the learners hurdles of learning language. Online language learning not only inculcates motivation but also intrigues a positive attitude by reducing the stress of evaluation process, and it increases the value of self-efficacy, leading to high language learning productivity. In this, it should be highlighted that the concept of self-regulation in learning English is very essential, and it originally comes from the idea of educational psychology, where second language acquisition is arousing the scholarly interest in the recent ages. Basically, self-regulated learning involves several basic elements, which are self-generated thoughts, feelings, strategies, and behavior. It is more of a psycholinguistic behavior in learning English or a foreign language. In this case, we can specify, and it can interchangeably be used as language acquisition. It is a metacognitive knowledge learning aspect of self-regulation, where it automatically happens to say that educational psychology in self-regulation of the foreign language learning simply means self-directive processes that language learners adopt to trigger and preserve their cognition, emotions, and behaviors. And this can only be curbed by the online process of learning English. In this way, it can be said that taking into consideration that there are drawbacks of online learning, there should be an amalgamation of both online and offline learning, whereas online learning should shelter the offline learning, and it should be the guidelines for having an offline working scenario, where the productive interaction in the physical presence should be the exploration in the field of learning and geolinguistics of English. This is to highlight that it also curbs the geopolitical scenario of the English language learning, as English has become the lingua franca of the whole world. So it is necessary to have a proper motivation direction in the correct direction to learn English, and not only the direction but also strength of the positive attitude in this way. Therefore, it should be said from it should be quoted from the paper Wang and Zhu in a recent study in April 9, 2020, where he states that the relationship between English language learners and online self-regulation has a positive correlation, showing that there is a structural equation modeling approach where it leads to the sustainability of language learning process as per English is the lingua franca of the world is concerned. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bushra, for this wonderful presentation. And yes, we all suffer from these issues, especially in this era nowadays with the COVID-19 pandemic. All right. We still have one more presentation, then we'll open the floor for discussion, for questions and comments. Okay, the fourth presentation, inshallah, is going to be presented by Dr. Anil Patel, who's the Assistant Professor of English at Baramati University in India. So he's going to present on English and soft skills, a journey from campus to corporate. Dr. Anil, you may start right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Sir, can you see my PowerPoint slides, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I will start, sir, with your permission.
Yes, you may start right now. Go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon to all of you, Honorable Chair, my fellow participants, and Honorable Dr. Amin and Dr. Shanwas, sir, both of you, and the University of Kerala and Yemen for giving me this opportunity to present my paper on English and soft skills, a journey from campus to corporate. See, this is the topic which is really very important when it comes to the career and life of students, because from many years we have been watching and experiencing that people have been worrying so much about employability, right? And of course their worry is quite natural. There are so many people in the world, youngsters in the world, they have a lot of talent, intelligence, but along with talent and intelligence, what is necessary is communication skills, communication ability in English, as well as soft skills. So technical skills or knowledge in the subject and soft skills go together. And that is why I have chosen this topic. And I am thankful to Dr. Amin and Dr. Shanaw sir for accepting my paper and giving this opportunity. I will not take much time. I will complete in time. My point is, English is a global language. And if you want to interact with the global language, we need language, the target language, the global language, and that is English. There are people who have bias about English. See, it is not the monopoly of one country or one community. So we need to understand the fact that English is the language of everyone, every citizen of the world. And if you want to communicate your message, it is essential to know the language, master it. Once you master this language with a lot of practice, you can surely communicate with everyone. So the points are like English knowledge, enough knowledge of English grammar, pronunciation, and speaking practice can surely help you master English. Today, most of the students are not confident to speak in the corporate world. end of the degree or one day. No. See, we need to have continuous practice it continuously, and understand the fact that we have to practice every day so that we can improve every day. To speak confidently and effectively, because our target is not just communication but effective communication. I have used only one slide for English, and most of the important points are like soft skills, because I give more importance to soft skills. Soft skills are nowadays called power skills, life skills. So, say these skills are like communication skills, interpersonal skills, creativity. How are you able to communicate with people? How do you stand? How do you walk? How do you sit? Everything, right? Are you confident? Right? Your body language, all these skills cover are covered into soft skills. Right? Of course, these skills are difficult to acquire, but if you are once aware about them, you can surely learn them, master them, and use them. You can own them in your entire life. Right? So once you own them, once you acquire them, you master them for your entire life. The first point is communication skills. See, many participants, many fellow experts, fellow presenters have talked about these communication skills and ICT, right? All these things, right? Of course, they are important, but communication skills, effective communication skills are important. And everyone knows that these skills are like verbal communication, non-verbal communication, oral communication, written communication, and visual communication. See, our words are important, but our non-verbal communication matters more than words. So we need to be really very conscious about the language, our body language, our eye movements, our hand movements, our gestures, our facial expressions, everything, right? So because all these are signs and they carry meanings, all these have a lot of meanings. So non-verbal communication have the great significance. Next soft skill is teamwork. See, nowadays there are people, there are students who feel that they are introvert. They do not want to speak with people. They are introvert, but they need to change their approach and face the world, face the people, talk to people, interact with people. They need to go to the team. They need to go to the group and work together, because it is said that the teamwork achieves more. Also, not only the team achieves more together, but it is the individual also who achieves more together, right? So the significance of working in a team is more important. Next point is leadership skills. See, everyone knows that leaders are not born, they are made, and that is true. Leaders have to understand the fact that if you want to become the leader, people should say that you are a leader. You need to understand them. You need to sympathize with people. You need to appreciate people. You need to work with people and then learn more, right? So this is the important point here. We need to give promotion. We need to appreciate with the help of words, with the help of monetary benefits, with the help of promotion. If someone is doing great work, good work, that person has to be appreciated, has to be given some kind of promotion, right? So leadership, it means people should say you are the leader. You should not say you are the leader yourself, right? That is the point. One of the most important soft skills next is interpersonal skills. See, we need to talk to different kind of groups, different people. There are different kinds of people in the world, and we need to understand the fact that we have to speak to those people. We need to speak to those people because there are different kinds of opportunities everywhere, and we need to feel the fact that unless we do not speak to them, we cannot understand the people, right? So different kind of cultures, groups, races are there, right? Different kinds of mindsets are there. So interpersonal skills help us understand people, and for people also to understand us more. Next point is flexibility, adaptability. See, in this 21st century, the world is changing fast. So we need to understand the fact that if the world is changing fast, we cannot be stagnant. We cannot just stand at the same place. So we need to change ourselves. We need to learn more, right? So if we want to learn more, we should learn from others. We should learn from others' experiences. Okay, we need to change our style of working, style of functioning, style of thinking, style of behaving, everything, right? Because the companies, multinational companies and the outside world expects more from you. We need to be flexible, adaptable, right? Then only we can feel that, yes, I am changing for better. All these skills are so important, right? Technical skills as well as soft skills. And we need to understand the fact that communication skills, interpersonal skills, leadership qualities, teamwork, your English communication, all these points are very important. And if we are able to master them, we can surely talk to people, interact with people effectively. We can communicate with people so effectively. And then only we can say that, yes, my journey from campus to corporate has been successful. I am a very good human being now. I'm a very good communicator now. I am a good professional now, right? So that is very important. That will help you a lot to become a good person as well as a successful human being in life. I have done from my side. I thank all of you for this opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Anil, for your wonderful presentation. And now let's open the floor for questions or comments from attendees. If you have any questions, you can write it in the chat, or you can just open your mic and then ask your question. Does anyone have any questions for our four lovely presenters? Can you hear me? All right.
Anyone has a question, please speak up. And Mr. Anil, please stop your presentation.
Waiting, can you turn off your mic if you don't have any questions? Because I can't hear you, and it's like.
Yes. Okay. Hello and welcome to my presentation. First of all, I would like to thank the organized committee in Kerala Department of Linguistics and the Department of English Language in Thamar University, Yemen. My presentation, I hope that my point is clear. Can you hear me properly?
Excuse me, Dr. Wajdi, we will come to you in the next session. Yeah, we are in another session. So your time.
Can you hear me clearly?
So we are sorry. We will mute you. We will mute you now.
Yes.
Your session is not now. It will be later. Later on. Your session is not now. Well, Dr. Basim, you can proceed for the conclusion as long as there are no more questions or questions for the presenters. Yes, sir.
Okay, so since there are no questions, so I would like to thank four presenters for their wonderful presentation. And, yes, informative presentations, and also I'd like to thank Dr. Amin and all colleagues and the organizers for inviting me to this wonderful conference. Thank you again, and I wish you all the best, the presenters, the organizer, you, Dr. Amin, and I'll stay tuned with you because I really enjoyed the sessions. All the sessions are very fruitful and helpful as well for those who are interested in different research areas. Thank you all, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Dr. Bassem Al-Amri from Jeddah, King Abdulaziz University, the English Language Institute, and the director of the Writing Center. Thank you for chairing the session and for accepting the invitation. You have been very cooperative and supportive. We would like to thank you again, and all the 4 presenters. Thank you, everyone.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So with this, we come to the conclusion of the 6th technical session, and now we will